Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes' Tottenham blog and to another episode of Transfer Talk. Today I'm going to be looking at the latest updates regarding Fernando Llorente. So the club have apparently offered Llorente a new year-long contract that's according to Football.London and Sky Sports. So Llorente's existing contract expired on the 1st of July after the club missed a deadline in his contract to extend it by a further year. There was never any official announcement that he had left the club, as there was with players like Michel Vorm. So there was always that feeling that the club might offer him something new and that he might actually stay for a further year. And it looks like that is now going to happen. He has been in talks with a few other clubs, and there's a number of clubs who have shown interest, particularly Fiorentina in Italy. Of course, Llorente had a lot of success in Italy with Juventus, so a move back there might suit him. But obviously, personally, I hope he does stay at the club, and it'll be interesting to see what he decides. He had such a good impact on our season last year, especially in the Champions League. He involved in so many important moments, and he also had a few important moments in the Premier League. And I know when Harry Kane was out injured, he wasn't really seen as the number one replacement for him, as players like Heung-min Son and Lucas Moura, who played in those attacking positions a lot more. But I do feel as though Llorente was an important part of our season last year, and he could continue to be that in the coming season if he does sign this new contract. It kind of makes sense now why we turned down Angel Correa in the negotiations with Atletico Madrid over the sale of Kieran Trippier. Of course, Madrid offered us the Argentinian striker in exchange for Kieran Trippier, and it was something that personally I did expect the club to accept because Correa is an Argentinian player, and he kind of fits a lot of the criteria that Pochettino was looking for in a striker. He's kind of looking to move away. He was supposedly looking to move away from the target man kind of backup for Kane, a move for someone who's more like a winger, who's very pacey. And of course, Correa can play on the right side of midfield as well, so he really did fit that bill. But of course, Tottenham instead opted for a cash deal and got 21 million for Trippier. So I was a bit confused about that decision because it did look like the Llorente was kind of moving away from the club. I know obviously he'd left a couple of weeks ago, but because of the links with Fiorentina and things like that, it did feel as though he was moving on from the club. But that may be changing now with this new contract offer. It's not surprising either that this has happened because Football.London reported last week or the week before that Levy was looking to bring in 4 more signings with the potential for a fifth. And that fifth signing was going to be a striker, as I said, preferably a winger type player, pacey, who could play up when Kane wasn't there. But that depended on Llorente's future, so the priority was tying Llorente down to a new contract, a new 1-year contract. And if that didn't happen, they'd then pursue different options of a player like that. And I think it's really good keeping Llorente at the club, not only as a player for next season, but in the future. Like, he's 34 years old now, so he may be looking towards retirement in the next couple of years. He's coming towards the end of his career, and he's such a talented, experienced player, and he has won so much, obviously with other teams. So I think if he does stay for this next year and then maybe retires at the end of the season, it would be a great idea to tie him down to a coaching role at the club, because our academy is such an important part of our team. And there's players like Troy Parrott and Keziah Sterling who are coming through. If Fernando Llorente could work with them, it could be a really promising future. And as well, even with Harry Kane, I know he's obviously a better striker than Llorente, but with the experience the Spaniard has, Harry Kane could also learn a lot off him. And it would be a massive addition to the coaching staff at the club if we could get Llorente to move on to a role like that. I will be making a lot more transfer videos like this over the remainder of the transfer window, and I'll be moving a lot into match previews and reviews when the season starts. So if you do want to get videos like that, hit the subscribe button below and make sure you hit the notification bell as well so you'll get notified whenever I upload a video. There is some more good news on the transfer front because it is believed that the club are confident that they will complete the signing of Ryan Sessegnon in the next week. Sessegnon is a 19-year-old left-back who plays for Fulham in the Championship at the moment, and the deal is believed to be valued around £25 million. With Danny Rose potentially leaving the club as well, it is an important deal to get over the line because they only have one first-team left-back there at the moment in Ben Davis. And obviously I know Jan Vertonghen can play there, but with Alderweireld's potential departure as well, he will be needed in centre-back. Sessegnon, as I've said, is a good signing because of the potential he has, but even at the moment, he's such a good player and he fits into that style of play that we have with the really attacking fullbacks. He's pacey, and having played in the left wing in the past, he does have that attacking capability. And he did struggle in the Premier League last year with Fulham, but there were so many different factors in that, with the amount of money they spent in the summer that just really kind of disrupted their team, and the managerial changes as well. There was never really any consistency within the club that would have allowed him to improve as a player and show his true qualities. I mean, we have to look at that season he had in the Championship of Fulham. Even though it is at a much lower level, he was playing in a team like Tottenham that are playing well, that are pushing on towards the top of the table and hoping for maybe not winning the league but finishing in those higher positions. And he was such a good player for Fulham. So I'll be looking forward to this one getting over the line. There's been nothing in the last couple of days about his brother Stephen Sessegnon signing as well. But that earlier in the window was believed to be a deal where we would sign Stephen Sessegnon as well and loan him back to Fulham for a year. But I don't know if that's going to be happening now. And now, as for Christian Eriksen, the further the window goes along, the less likely it seems that he will be leaving the club this summer. Obviously, he made those comments earlier in the window at the Denmark training camp for the European qualifiers that he wanted a new challenge, and leaving the club was something he was looking at this summer. But he has, of course, travelled with the squad in the pre-season tour to Singapore, and there's a lot of pictures that have surfaced of him looking really happy with the team and stuff like that. There was a bit of concern when he was seen training alone yesterday, but Pochettino has explained that, and he said he has a minor injury. He had small surgery after the Champions League final, so he's not completely fit. So he's training on his own at the moment, just light training, to try and not risk any further injuries, to see if he's available for selection on Sunday against Juventus. So it does seem like he might be staying at the club this summer, but if that does happen, it won't be a thing where he wants to stay or the club are willing to keep him. It's just at the moment it doesn't seem like there's anyone willing to buy him, and I imagine it is because of the price that the club have set in him, and the fact that he only has 1 year left in his contract, so clubs might be looking for a deal in January. Of course, if he does get to January without signing a new contract under the Bosman ruling, any team outside of England in Europe can negotiate with him to a pre-contract that would see him join them for free next July. So I think this is something that the club need to sort out either way. They either need to sell him or just get him to sign a new contract, even if that contract is just to boost up his value ahead of a move in January or next summer. It's important not to let him go for free, because obviously he's a world-class player and we can get in a lot of money for him. As for the teams that he could potentially be joining, Real Madrid, that's not looking likely. Obviously Zidane doesn't really want him in the club. He sees him as a player who's too similar to Kroos and Modric, and he doesn't want another player in that position. His kind of preferred signing at the moment is Paul Pogba, and with the signings they've already made this summer with Eden Hazard, Luka Jovic, Ferland Mendy, and a number of others, and if they do get Paul Pogba in, you imagine they'd be cutting it close with the financial fair play rules. So I can't imagine Real Madrid be signing him this summer. PSG, they're obviously looking to get a bit of money in at the moment. Neymar has handed in a transfer request and Barcelona have made an offer for him, but that offer from Barcelona includes a choice of two players, the majority of whom are midfielders. There's players like Coutinho, Dembele, Rakitic in that deal. So if that does go over the line, although PSG will be in a much better position with those financial fair play rules, it doesn't look like they will need a midfielder. So it's looking like there's just not enough interest in Eriksen this summer for him to leave. And if the club can get him to sign a new contract, obviously that's going to be massive. I'm not sure how that will affect our move for Giovanni Lo Celso. Obviously, Sky Sports have said that unless Eriksen leaves the club this summer, we won't revisit the Lo Celso deal. But there are other outlets saying that we will be signing Lo Celso regardless of Eriksen's future, which obviously would be great. I mean, it's hard to see where the money will come from. The Trippier £21 million and the Rose potential £20 million going for PSG as well. I imagine that will be reinvested in the defence, which is where Pochettino wants to strengthen this summer. Obviously, Ryan Sessegnon coming in, and we may need a centre back, especially if Alderweireld leaves. So I know obviously as well Pochettino did say that the club had saved a lot of money over the last 18 or so months without making any signings, but I can't imagine the money would be there to make a £70 million signing for Lo Celso when we have obviously already those players in there. It wouldn't be a priority, but obviously if it does happen I will be delighted with it. He's a really good player and he's attracted interest from a lot of teams. Benfica are the latest to be involved in that, but it's looking good for this summer. If we can get those one or two signings over the line. Obviously we were told that we'd need to sell some players in order to bring some in, and it's looking like that's starting to gather pace now at the moment, with our two fullbacks leaving, Rose potentially leaving. And that's all for this video today. If you do want more transfer content like this, as I said, over the remainder of the window, subscribe to the channel down below and hit the notification bell so you'll get it notified whenever I upload a video. Thanks for watching.